So next point that we have to mark, we have to see, since we had a discussion on Egypt, now we have to see Sinai Peninsula. Please look at this one. This particular peninsula, which is just next to the Suez Canal, is known as Sinai Peninsula. It is actually under the control of Egypt only. The Sinai Peninsula, it is under the control of Egypt only, Sinai Peninsula. Then please see Sudan and South Sudan. You see, Sudan is there, just south of Egypt. And then we have South Sudan. South Sudan is important because it was a country which was recently formed. It is a recently formed country, guys. Can you tell me the year of its formation? Mention in the comment section box. It is a recently formed country. Very recently, South Sudan got its independence from Sudan. So that's why it is important we should know that kind of thing. So we should definitely know for our exam. So South Sudan is one of the recent, and we have seen because of these problems and all, we have seen lots of civil war happening in that area, right? We had seen lots of civil war in that area, Sudan, South Sudan, and all, and finally South Sudan got its independence. Then you have to see the next country, which is called as Eritrea. Please look at this country, Eritrea. It is very important, guys, because question can be asked. Okay, so Shubham has given the answer 2011. Good Shubham, very good. So you have to see, guys, this is the Red Sea, right? So you might be asked to mark it up. So you know the countries which are bordering the Red Sea. So Egypt is the one, not South Sudan. Sudan is the one, Egypt is the one, right? Then you have Eritrea, then you have Djibouti, right? Right? So Djibouti is also there, Eritrea is also there. So these are the countries which are having a borderline with the Red Sea. So again, for the prelims purpose, you might be asked this. Okay, tell me the countries having a border with the Red Sea. So you should know Egypt, Sudan, Eritrea, Djibouti. They are the one. There are very important points, by the way. Let me tell you. We'll tell you the importance once again when we have to discuss in detail. So Eritrea is the country. You can see it's a small country, Eritrea. Then we have a country called Djibouti. D is silent, guys. It is pronounced as Djibouti. And this is very important because China has a naval base here. It is famous for the reason that China has a military naval base. Has a military base. It has a naval base here. So now you can see China. Where is China? China is somewhere in Asia. But China has constructed a military base, a naval base on Djibouti. Again, the fact is Djibouti is another chalk point. So we are seeing a lot of chalk points today, isn't it? So now you can see like Morocco and Spain can block Strait of Gibraltar. Egypt had blocked Suez Canal. If by chance China thinks that China wants to choke the economy of the world, because of having a naval base on Djibouti, they can choke this point, isn't it? Now, what would be the benefit of traveling through Mediterranean, through Suez Canal, through Red Sea, if you could not cross Djibouti? You could never enter. You could never enter Indian Ocean if we have a choke point at Djibouti, and that's why China chose this place and China made a base, naval base, military base. Smart move, isn't it? So they are very important points. Strategic locations, strategic points are very important for geopolitics today. And again, guys, it's very strategic because nearby Djibouti, we have a strait called Bab al Mandeb. I'm sure you must have heard the name Bab al Mandeb. So Bab al Mandeb is a strait which is near Djibouti. It is the Bab al Mandeb Strait which connects the Gulf of Aden and Red Sea. So you should mark it up. at Bab al Mandeb here in Djibouti. This particular strait is the one which is known as the name Bab al Mandeb. This strait, the red point, and it connects the Gulf of Aden and the Red Sea. Very important, strategically very important. Then we have the next one, guys. Then we have the next country as Somalia. Like we have Ethiopia here. Ethiopia is there. And after Ethiopia, you can see this is Somalia. Somalia is famous for which reason Somalia is famous? It is famous for the pirates, right? Yes, we have a lot of pirates, Lutere, Samudri Lutere. So, and it is one of the most corrupted country in the world. Somalia is, as far as the corruption perception index is concerned, which is released by Transparency International. So Somalia is one of the most corrupted country of the world. And I'm sure you must have heard a term called the Horn of Africa. I'm sure you have read it somewhere, right? So if someone asks you the Horn of Africa, this portion is called the Horn of Africa. This entire one. So Eritrea, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Somalia. These four countries are part of Horn of Africa. Please note it down. These four countries, Eritrea, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Somalia, become a part of Horn of Africa. It's a very important one. And since not just Somalia is the leader, but actually the whole Horn of Africa is very infamous. It is very infamous for pirates. So that's why this Horn of Africa is heavily patrolled area. It is heavily patrolled area. Why it is heavily patrolled area? Because all the countries whosoever wants to protect its interest, heavy patrolling is done, and so as to control the piracy in that area. This whole is a heavily protected area, you can say. Patrolling is done in that area. Now guys, such important countries, you should know one more important point. You should see that, please notice here that Ethiopia is a landlocked country. Don't forget to miss that it is a landlocked country. Ethiopia never ever share its coast with the Red Sea, because UPSC will surely give Ethiopia as option if by chance they ask you about the Red Sea boundary country, but because Ethiopia is a landlocked country, it doesn't share its border. Sudan has its border with Red Sea, not the South Sudan, because South Sudan again is a landlocked country. So South Sudan, landlocked. Ethiopia, landlocked. Rest all the countries which we have discovered so far, they were having some kind of coastlines, but Ethiopia, landlocked. Sudan, landlocked. Clear? Okay, so after having a discussion here, we have seen the state boundaries portion. Okay, so one point I want you to cover, I want you to pay attention here, guys, before we leave for the next picture. So please notice, there is a very, very special thing about African continent. Who will tell me why Africa is geographically so important continent? Who will tell me that? It has something to do with the latitudes. Just I'm giving you a hint. Africa has something to do with the latitudes, and that makes Africa very special continent. Can you tell me why? Resource richness has its own point. All latitudes, not all latitudes. How can all latitudes be be present here? Africa is the only continent, guys. Please remember, Africa is the only continent where you have Tropic of Cancer passing through with equator and Tropic of Capricorn. So these three, all the three special latitudes, 23.5 degree, because Tropic of Cancer is 23.5 degree north, equator is 0 degree, and then we have 23.5 degree south. So all the three latitudes, because this is not in any case, like there are many continents, like South Africa has both. We have done in South America continent, we have seen, no? So we have this equator going on here. So we have the this is a tropic of Capricorn. We had seen the equator also, but so this is the equator, right? And this was tropic of Capricorn. But this is the only country, because no other country has the combination of all the three. It is the Africa only which is there. So please make a list of the countries which are under tropic of Capricorn. So see, tropic of Cancer first. So tropic of Cancer, 23.5 degree north. The countries through which it passes are Western Sahara, number one. Then we have Mali, number two. We have Algeria, number three. We have Libya, number four. Not Niger, not Chad. Please see that. It is passing above that, right? So please do not include Niger, because this is how it is passing here. It's just touching, not even passing from there. So apart from that, even Egypt is covered. Yes, जो cover नहीं हो रहा उसको मैं cross कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है? So then we have Egypt. So these five countries from Africa. I'm not talking about anything else. Yes, sorry. Yeah, even Mauritania. I missed that, Shubham. So we have Western Sahara, we have Mauritania, then we have Mali. So I'm writing as short. So for Tropic of Cancer, please remember W, Western Sahara, Mauritania, Mali, Algeria, Libya, and Egypt. So Vamale you can write. I mean, you can make any of your good shortcut for that. So Vamale is actually the countries. It's a list of 6 countries through which the Tropic of Cancer passes. Clear? Please note it down. Then please pay attention to the equator. Then let's see how the 0 degree we have equator. So equator actually passes through Gabon. It passes through Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. This is called DRC. Earlier name was Zaire. I'm sure you must have heard the word Zaire. Earlier it used to be called as Zaire, but now its official name is DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. This is called DRC. Clear? So we have Gabon, we have Congo, we have DRC. You can see we have Uganda, then we have Kenya, and this is Somalia. So in total, these 6 countries are the one through which the equator passes through. So 0 degree is the one which we have to see. So every time you come across these maps, try to pay a lot of attention to all these special attitudes, right? So please note down, we have Gabon, we have Congo, we have DRC, we have Uganda, Kenya, and Somalia. So these are the 6 countries through which the equator passes, right? So try to remember these 6. Okay, so we are done with Tropic of Cancer, done with the equator. Then we have to move ahead to the next one, which is Tropic of Capricorn. So look at this, 23.5 degrees south. So it passes through Namibia, first country. It passes through Botswana, passes through South Africa, it passes through Mozambique. So only 4 countries we have for Tropic of Capricorn. Even Madagascar. See, Madagascar is also part of Africa, though the difference is it is actually it is island nation, but it is part of Africa only. We consider it part of African continent. Okay, so Madagascar is part of African continent. So if option is there, Madagascar is mentioned, then you can definitely mention that. African mainland option, if they have asked African mainland, then don't include Madagascar. If they are saying African continent in general, then you can mark 5. Otherwise, we have 4 for the Tropic of Capricorn, right? Namibia number 1. I told you Botswana number 2, South Africa, Mozambique, and then optional is Madagascar. Guys, I know they are really tough, and I don't even expect you guys to remember each and everything, but please make a habit. Please put a lot of maps in your room, okay? Please put a lot of maps in your room. So wherever you come across, just keep on peeping in those maps, just keep on looking in the maps, and gradually whatever discussions we are doing in the class, gradually it will keep coming in your mind time and again. Okay, I'm telling you the concept. So now whenever you see the map of Egypt next time, whenever you see Egypt, you will always notice Suez Canal, right? Then automatically Suez Canal comes to your mind. The concepts that we have done in the class will automatically come to your mind, right? Hi Pulak Chaudhary, how are you? So guys, these are the things that we have discussed, right? Any doubt here? Any doubt up to this point? So these are very important countries, guys. These are very important countries that we have discussed so far. Okay, and you should know that Kenya, like if you talk about the down south part of Africa, so Kenya is very important country. Kenya, not just because they have a cricket team, right? So Kenya, Zimbabwe, right? They both are having cricket teams. So not just because of that. Kenya is actually very famous for tea cultivation. Okay, Kenya is famous for the tea cultivation. Very famous. We have. What else? What else we have to discuss? Okay, one point I think we have missed. Let me complete that point. Did I tell you that Nigeria is also called land of palm oil? Did I tell you that? Nigeria is actually called the land of palm oil. It is called the land of palm oil, right? It's called land of palm oil. We have lots of palm oil production as well as export from that area. Like we have Ghana. Ghana is also very famous for cocoa production. We have lots of cocoa production from Ghana. It is also having what was the name of its coast? I told you guys. What was the name of the coast of Ghana? Coast of Ghana is also called as, I told you that. Remember, I told you it used to be called as Gold Coast. A lot of gold used to be exported from there. So Ghana coast, yeah, it was Gold Coast. Hi Shwetam Sinku, how are you? So Ghana is famous for cocoa and Nigeria palm oil. Okay, Kenya we have done. Now I want you to guys to notice one more point here. Just notice the two very important countries, you can say small countries but very important. One is called as Swaziland. Can you see the country called Swaziland on your map? This is called Swaziland. And can you see this country called Lesotho? Can you see this country called Lesotho? Yes, so they are very important country. Very hardly we get to know about that, but just to bring them into your notice, I'm pointing it out. One more point, guys. If you can see, Lesotho is entirely covered. It has only one neighbor, and that is South Africa. So within South Africa, this is a country which is called Lesotho. So that's why Lesotho is like an enclave. We call Lesotho is actually an enclave of South Africa. Because South Africa is bordering from 360 degrees, Lesotho has been covered. So that's why Lesotho is called enclave. You know the what is enclave, right? Enclaves, you know that in your border areas, we call such areas called enclaves. And this was also in the news for recently land boundary agreement, guys. I'm sure in the news you must have covered land boundary agreement between India and Bangladesh. Yes, yes, same. So Eswatini used to be the earlier name. Now we call it as Swaziland. We call it as Swaziland now. Official name is Swaziland. So land boundary agreement that we have seen recently, land boundary agreement LBA, which has been done recently between India and Bangladesh. That was also for these enclaves. That land boundary agreement talks about exchange of it talks about exchange of the enclaves only, right? So enclaves are very important term. This happened in 2015. I think 31st July 2015 it happened. So okay, so now we have seen these two countries, Lesotho and Swaziland, right? What else we have to cover? So countries we have seen, guys. Okay, now let's talk about the water bodies which are surrounding Africa. Please focus on the water bodies. Now we have to see water bodies as a separate topic also. So please pay a lot of attention, lots of attention on that, so that you can see here also. So as you can see, this particular area, in this particular area, we have this North Atlantic Ocean. We have Mediterranean Sea here on north of Africa. Other famous water bodies which are not directly here, but you should know that just over Mediterranean we have Adriatic Sea, we have the Black Sea and Caspian. Guys, it has nothing to do with the African mapping. They are not related. But I'm just telling you for general knowledge sake that just above Mediterranean we have Adriatic, Black and Caspian, just to remember you, because once this entire course will be done, there will be one practice class where I will be having the entire world map with me, and I will be asking you, that will be a test, how much you have learned from the classes. So I will be directly asking you the questions. Okay, tell me the location of this, what this water body is called. So that time you have to remember each and everything. So वन बाय वन अभी तो आई एम कवरिंग राइट, पर बाद में मैं टेस्ट लूंगा आप सबका, और जो विनर होगा उसको फिर प्राइज और सरप्राइज दोनों चीजें मिलेंगी, ठीक है? सो दिस इज टू मेक श्योर कि आप अच्छे से क्लासेस फॉलो कर रहे हैं. मुझे उम्मीद है अच्छे नंबर आएंगे आप लोग के. Okay, so then we have the Red Sea here, right? We have Indian Ocean here. Undoubtedly, this is really important. Now, please look at the Gulf of Guinea. Please look at this Gulf of Guinea also, guys. It's really important because we have Guinea Basin here. This is called the Guinea Basin, right? This is Gulf of Guinea, I told you. This is Cape Verde Basin, guys. If you want to mark it up, you can mark Cape Verde Basin. It is really important. Cape Verde Basin. What else? Did we miss anything? No, I think we have covered a lot of things, right? And this also we have covered. This is what we call as Bab el Mandeb. Bab el Mandeb, we have also covered that, right? Gulf of Aden, we have seen. Gulf of Aden. Persian Gulf is in Asia, but just this is again for just knowledge sake. Okay, yeah, one more important thing which we have to cover. Please look at this, guys. If you see, we have Mozambique channel here. Can you see that? This is what we call as Mozambique channel. This is called Mozambique channel. So we have a country called Mozambique, right? We have seen this country called Mozambique. So between Mozambique and Madagascar, we have this Mozambique channel. Remember that, it's important. Okay, then we have Algola Bay. If you see, we have a point here. We have a point. This point is also very famous, called as Algoa Bay. This is called Algoa Bay. Then we have another important point which we have to mark is Cape of Agulhas. Now this point is called, like there are two capes, so don't get confused. Now this particular cape is called Cape of Good Hope. This is called Cape of Good Hope, and this cape is called as Cape of Agulhas. Cape of Agulhas, right? And Algoa Bay we have already mentioned. So these are the major water bodies, guys. These are the major water bodies and other things that you have to see. Hi Saket Suman. So these are the ones. So please remember that. Horn of Africa also we have covered, no? I told you the Horn of Africa. This is the Horn of Africa comprising 4 countries. So these are the major things which you have to take care. Coasts also we have mentioned. So undoubtedly I've told you the 4 major coasts. From Sierra Leone we have the Grain Coast. I told you This was the Ivory Coast, this was the Gold Coast, and this was the Slave Coast. This also I have told you earlier, so no point of repeating them. Okay, now can you see a very important thing which is called the Rift Valley, the Great African Rift Valley, guys? Have you heard that? We have the Great African Rift Valley. So this entire part is called the Great African Rift Valley. It actually starts from this point. Actually starts from this point here. So you know what is a Rift Valley? What do you mean by Rift Valley? I'm sure you must have heard about the term called block mountains. We have been marking them for so long. So block mountains we have seen, right? So let me tell you this. We have a phenomena called faulting, right? In geography, we have a term called faulting. So faulting basically happens when you have one is compressional force, then we have a tensional force, right? So faulting happens because of tensional force, because of tensional stress. And tensional stress happens when two things are moving apart from each other. Like we have this block of mountain, this is a rock, and you are moving them into two different directions. When they are going in two different directions, this is called tensional stress, parting two things apart. These kind of things, these kind of boundaries are called diverging boundaries in plate tectonics. I'm sure you must have read that, right? So in plate, not because of yes, it is divergence. Yes, Shubham. So we have diverging plate boundaries. They are called diverging plate boundaries. So when two plate boundaries diverge from each other, when they go from away from each other, when boundaries go away, so you can clearly see, guys, the thing which is in between is definitely something which is teared apart. So when you are tearing two things apart, there will be a gap in between, right? So because of the faulting, the portion which is raised up becomes a block mountain, and the portion which becomes down, which is it is called a rift valley. So you see, this entire part is very active. This entire part of Africa is very active, guys. This entire is called the Great Rift Valley, and this is around 6,000 kilometers. You should know that the Rift Valley, of Africa, I should say this name is Great Rift Valley of Africa, is approximately 6,000 kilometer. Okay, it's not a joke. It is 6,000 kilometer. It starts from Bekwa Valley. It starts from the Bekwa Valley and it ends near Mozambique. Right? So Bekwa Valley to Mozambique is that 6,000 kilometer Great African Valley. And do you know what is going to happen in future? Do you know what is going to happen in future, guys? There will be a time when the whole African Rift Valley will tear apart. I mean, what will happen? So suppose this is your Africa, this is your today's Africa. So because of the Rift Valley, this entire part will be torn away. So tomorrow there will be a time when you will see this thing happens like this, and this will be a separate boundary, and this will be the Africa. So this is going to be the future of African continent, but not so soon. It will take thousands and thousands of years, but definitely the things will tear apart from Rift Valley because we have a diverging plate boundaries, right? So because of diverging plate boundaries, these things are bound to happen. So we have this Great Rift Valley. Please note this down. It's a very important concept of plate tectonic is involved. So this is really important. Now, since we are talking about the Great Rift Valley, so guys, please notice the point called, this point is called, what is the name of this? This is Lake Victoria, right? This is Lake Victoria. Hi Rooplekha, hi Ankita, hi Srividya. This is Lake Victoria. Absolutely, Ankita, this is Lake Victoria. It's a very important lake. Is Lake Victoria also a part of Rift Valley? Yes or no? Is it also a part of Great Rift Valley? No, it is not. Please note down that no, it's not part of Rift Valley. The Rift Valley, which we had just discussed, Lake Victoria is not a part of that. Other lakes are, like we have Lake Tangankia. So this particular lake is a part of Rift Valley, but not the Lake Victoria. It is different. Yes, the Malawi one is there. Yes, Lake Malawi, which is also called as Lake Nyasa. So Lake Nyasa is a part of that lake, that Rift Valley, but not the Lake Victoria. UPSC can simply trick you with this. So I'm really happy that you guys already know that. So please do not get confused with Lake Victoria. It is not a part of this particular one, right? So guys, how many of you are coming to my geography class for the first time? I can see there are some newcomers, right? How many of you are newcomers? Because this is the third class of world geography. Two classes I have already done. So one we have done the map marking of North America, then we have done the map marking of Central and South America. So if you guys have missed those classes, I really recommend you to go back and see the classes, right? It's a very important class. And today there is something extra which I'm telling you. This is not just the map marking we are doing. So guys, before you have come to the class, I have covered some important topics like Arab Spring also. Since we're talking about the African continent, so I also try to cover some of the contemporary issues or the kind of things which are important for international relations kind of stuff with Indian perspective. So we have also discussed the Arab Spring 2.0, India and Arab Spring. This is also what we have done. I have also explained the Suez Canal because we were discussing Egypt and the Suez Canal. So I'm not just making you mark the points, I'm also discussing the concepts, okay? So try to be regular in the class. The timings will be the same, 8 p.m. will be the timing. And after we are done mapping the whole of Africa, I will also make you cover India-Africa partnership, India-Africa relationships. This is again very important for GS2. So the whole point of telling you all this is how you can merge GS1 with GS2. So I'm trying to connect that. Okay, I'm trying to connect that point. Oasis is when you have water surrounded by land. This is called oasis. When you have small water in the entire of which is entirely covered by dry land. This is called an oasis, right, Ankita? Okay, so we had talked about the rivers now. So far we have done all the points. Now our major focus will be rivers. So guys, any doubt up to this point? Then you please mention in the comment section box.